Hey everybody, Professor Snart with a quick face check-in instead of screenshots. So we've just kind of wrapped up our the first half, I guess you could say, of our kind of paired Unit 6 or Unit 5 and 6 here, where we're doing kind of the capstone project for our short fiction piece of our class. So you have a partner that you're working with. We're trying to do like an online collaborative project. A little unusual, a little outside the box, but you're probably, again, like I've mentioned before, noticing how much time there is as far as the setup part. Like we spent a whole unit basically just getting people connected. And now I have a growing list of the partners that we've got, and then links to the slide that they're working on or the website that they're building. Still under construction, we get that. So as things get completed and we get closer to Thursday, which is the due date for the final, or the short story project, and the due date kind of for Unit 6, I'll actually start posting or embedding, depending on what the options are that I have available are, the completed project. And so in Unit 6, you're moving forward right with the project itself, continuing to work with your partner either remotely, asynchronously, which is what like Google Docs is great for, or slides, or websites through Weebly or the Google Sites is great for. Working towards a due date for the project of Thursday, and then we have a discussion board built in where you'll be able to look through other people's projects and provide a response. So that's kind of like the Sunday reply deadline. So things are looking okay. I haven't got everybody's link here, at least at this point. So that was a pretty simple task, I think, for Unit 5. So I'm guessing that things are actually going pretty well for people, but when I'm not seeing it, I'm not totally 100% sure. So we do want to make sure that this works, okay? So make sure you're following the instructions and doing this sort of the step-by-step stuff, maybe for my own good rather than yours, just so I can make sure that everyone's on track. And if not, then I need to know about it so I can get in there and help people to connect or to fix things or make some recommendations and whatever. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think I'm basically just checking in to provide some encouragement at this point. So you still have a few days until that due date. Obviously, you don't want to leave things till the last minute. So keep working with your partner, have a plan in place, have some deadlines for everybody. That's always helpful. And, work towards that due date. And then, of course, don't forget the presentation part. So I've told you before that I really am invested in making this a great course long term, but especially because it's the first online honors course we've had. And this is the kind of activity that I really want to make work. And not just work so we kind of fumble through it, but work so it's a productive, good experience. So if things aren't kind of working the way you want, or you're not being able to connect with your partner or whatever, definitely reach out to me and I'll see what I can do. It's also kind of good timing because relatively recently the Google Site Builder has undergone a major renovation. And so in my experience, you have to use either Firefox or Chrome. And if you go to sites.google.com, it'll give you kind of a new option to do the new Sites Builder, which looks a lot like Weebly, weirdly enough, and looks very unlike the old Sites Builder. There's actually less flexibility, I think, because they were tired of people making a lot of wonky kind of looking websites, which is sort of a plus or a pro and a con in our situation, where sometimes we want a little more flexibility, even if it's not up to graphic design standards or whatever. But it's super easy to use. The new site builder, you can drag and drop stuff. You just sort of double click in the blank space and it'll let you add pictures, text, upload from Drive, do all kinds of interesting things. So anyway, if you haven't gotten too deep into what you're doing, you might want to investigate that. And even if you have ended up using the old site builder or built maybe some slides, it might be interesting to investigate the new site builder, even if you were to port over, just cut and paste, or even drag and drop half the time, some of the stuff that you've already developed into that more dynamic web environment. And for those of you doing web projects, one of the things that I really want to encourage you to do is to get away from the linear structure of the essay or even the slideshow that just kind of works us through kind of the one thing to the next to the next. If you're working on the web, really think about ways that you can move in non-linear directions. So let your creativity take over there instead of just defaulting to page 1, page 2, etc., etc. So in addition to getting a little deeper into the content of our course, the literature that we're reading, you're also sort of learning to use a slightly different platform here than the traditional essay or slideshow as a way of making an argument and using the organizational possibilities as effectively as possible, so you're not just locked into that linear kind of movement. Okay, so things are looking good. I think most people are connected. They have a plan in place. So make sure you have your eye on that Thursday due date, and then we have that kind of turnaround response piece, and then we move into the next section of our Wait, I gotta sneeze. No, is it gonna happen? Maybe not. The next section of our course, which gets us into poetry, the next genre that we cover. I'm going to sneeze for sure, so I'm going to cut myself off right here. But as always, if you have questions, concerns, whatever's going on, feel free to be in touch with me.